At about 8 o'clock last evening, Sunday, April 13th, I was searching for something. And I suddenly hit upon an object which occasionally takes a digression into the field of spiritual autobiography, making revelations to see the origin of at least some of his views. He's familiar with the doleful dumps. He is, and appears always to have been, in ill health. A man of sincere head and heart, he yet makes confession of moral turpitude and pusillanimity that can be accounted for only by those impoverished nerves and many ailments to which he once and again refers, and there can be nothing queerer, in view of some of his remarks, than when he says that none but truly a good man has courage to avow himself a knave. Being somewhat in doubt as to the existence of such a nebulous belief in that region, I started the driving clock, noted the right ascension and declination, which were a series of metaphysical and philosophical excursions. I noted he is not, in the vulgar sense, a formal logician or system maker. In his free way, he discourses of divinity and humanity, the world and the spirit, nature and redemption, the church and the state, religion and dogma, science and philosophy, life, freedom, and destiny. He does not seek to enforce by argument any position he may take or thought he may express, and he tells his friend to cast away all apprehension of being reasoned into the truth, or having the understanding coerced against the heart's consent. In his view, the truth here presented is great enough to authenticate itself or furnish its own evidence. It disowns all outward authority, and he even goes as far as to say that he cannot offer a single reason, unprompted by the heart, why he himself believes the truth in question, or any other truth for that matter, and that the heart's sincere craving for truth is the only thing that in the long run approves it to the intellect. We searched the catalogues, but found no such object ever recorded. By this time I found the object gone out of the field, but soon found it again, and he told me he loathes the flatulent church and the dishonest state, hates the existing infamous civilization, and would gladly beat the drum and blow the trumpet for their final burial out of human sight. In order to obtain more knowledge about this wonderful phenomenon, for such I must call it, I concluded to telegraph at once to the Naval Observatory in Washington, and I calculated which position I would occupy by the time the message would reach the observatory. The message read as follows: The realm of philosophy is invariably soul or inward consciousness. The realm of science is as invariably body or outward sense. Science is never life, but it is, at most, the moonlit shadow of life projected upon our understanding, and the method of one is no less disproportionate to that of the other than earth is disproportionate to heaven. I started the driving clock, noted the right ascension and the declination, which were 2 hours 34 minutes and 34 degrees north. By this time I found he had gone out of the field, but soon found him again, where he had gained 4 minutes. Our declination remained unchanged. I, for my part, says he, am thoroughly sick and tired of regulating my intellectual life of any principle of scientific certitude, because this in the long run is to make sense the arbiter of the mind. What does it matter to me that some cold-blooded prig or pedant is able to demonstrate the scientific untruth of my belief? Have I ever pretended that it had any scientific basis or justification? Do I not know in all my bones that the tendency of science and the whole current of men's servile opinion run directly counter to it? Do you think I love it any less on that account? Or that my fierce relish for it is not all the while quickened and fomented by this popular and scientific indifference to it? A half hour or so later, watching him constantly with amazement, I found I had gained the same amount. I no longer trusted my own vision, but called to him to confirm what undoubtedly was there. He saw it, and we both began to speculate as to its physical composition. He told me he believed that mere learning of any kind is not in itself an object of admiration to him, who caustically remarks that nothing is more common than for a very learned man to be a very unknowing one, except perhaps than for a very knowing man to be a very unlearned one. At 2:10 o'clock this morning, I found it at the zenith. It now seemed to be more brilliant than at any previous observation, and I fancied I could see it with the unaided eye, but cannot be positive of this. I must confess, although absurd, the thought entered my mind that we had tired of our position and were seeking another and a better home.